Greetings, everybody. Hello, and this is Genghis Mall speaking. And this is going to be a different video. I realize that I don't always want to sound like an angry, bitter man. Complain about my dating situation, whatever. So I've decided to take things more on the positive side. And, like I said, I don't want everybody thinking that I'm always a bitter, angry man. So I've decided to do a fun video, a positive video. And this one is, I don't know if anybody's, maybe some people have the same interests I do or they don't, whatever. But basically, as you can see from the graphic here, this is going to be about, well, Batman. More specifically, this is going to be, and by the way, I do tend to be a huge comic book fan and, love comic book movies as well. And, but without a shadow of a doubt, Batman has always been one of my favorites, particularly now what's going on with, the wonderful, absolutely wonderful Christopher Nolan um, movies. His first one was Batman Begins, and his second one was, of course, The Dark Knight, which Heath Ledger actually, got an Academy Award for his role as a Joker, which was totally well deserved in my opinion. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. So basically, this video is about about the upcoming. For those of you who don't know, the next Christopher Nolan Batman film will be titled The Dark Knight Rises, and it's actually coming out in July 2012, I believe, July 2012, which is still sadly about a year and a half away, because like I said, I just love this stuff, and the darn film can't come out soon enough. Okay, so like I said, this film is coming out a year and a half from now, and being a huge Batman fanboy, I admit I'm one of those guys that I scour the internet every chance I can get to see any new details that may be revealed about the film, the upcoming film, even though it's still a while off. And so, for what it's worth, this is pretty much, a preview of that film. Once again, The Dark Knight Rises will be coming out in July 2012. And also, too, Christopher Nolan reportedly has said that this is going to be his last Batman film, his last Batman film, a trilogy. So this would be the final one, which is interesting. It's sad in a way, but it is what it is. So the, so basically, I'm gonna kind of give uh, uh, some details here and there of what's coming in, and I don't know if anybody doesn't want anything spoiled, you might as well stop right now. But this is not going to reveal any story. I mean, we still have no idea what the story is going to be. Christopher Nolan keeps a tight lid on this. So basically, I'm just going to, tell you what I know of what's going to be in the film. I mean, what villains will be used in the film, and what information I know, and then I'll just give some opinions of what my 2 cents. So without further ado, the first thing is, a lot of people are wondering, and like I said, some of you may already know who the villains and the characters in the film will be. But then again, for those of you who don't know, well, first off, pretty much most of the cast that was in the first two Batman films, Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises, Christian Bale will be Batman, Michael Caine will be Alfred, his butler, Gary Oldman will be Detective James Gordon. No, I'm sorry, Commissioner Gordon. Forgive me. And of course, Morgan Freeman will be Mr. Fox. So now that the big new, whatever for a long time, everybody was curious as hell who is going to be the villains in the movie, who's going to be the main characters. I mean, and who is going to dare take up the challenge left by Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, a lot of people are saying that, and for what it's worth, they're probably right. Heath Ledger did such an amazing job as a Joker in The Dark Knight. I mean, it's How the hell can you top that? But anyways, so get the drum rolls ready. For those of you who don't know, um, the characters revealed for The Dark Knight Rises are Bane, the character Bane, played by, I believe, let's see, Tom Hardy, I believe. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Tom Hardy will be playing Bane. Again, let me just make sure. I just want to make sure I have this right. Right, Tom Hardy will be playing Bane, and um, Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway will be playing. This is what I've known so far. Anne Hathaway will be playing Selena Kyle. Selena Kyle, who, as a lot of people already know, is the name. Also, the lady who is really Catwoman. Now, the interesting thing is, it hasn't been revealed that Catwoman herself will be in the film, but I mean, I have a strong suspicion that, well, Anne Hathaway playing Selena Kyle will eventually somehow end up being Catwoman or whatever. So, it's common knowledge. Selena Kyle is Catwoman. So there you go. Now the interesting is, that a lot of, a lot of more people are more familiar with Catwoman than Bane. Catwoman has always been a romantic, um, linked to Batman. She's a villainess, she is a villainess. She once in a while she goes out and she, robs, commits crimes. Some of you may remember Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman in 1992's, I believe, Batman Returns. I forget, what's well, anyways, the one with Danny DeVito as a penguin. So, Catwoman sometimes is a villain. She, commits crimes, but she's never been as evil or twisted as a Joker or Killer Croc, for example. She's always been, a villain, but more of a, just, how can I say, lighthearted villain. She wouldn't want to kill anybody like the Joker, for example. Now, so and once in a while she's even an ally to Batman here and there. Sometimes she's an ally to Batman. But there's the two of them, Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle, Batman, Catwoman, always had a romantic interest in each other. So that's Catwoman. Now, there may be a lot of people out there who, I'm very familiar with being a big Batman fan. I'm very familiar with, Batman lore. And Bane, a lot of people might not really be familiar with Bane, other than, Bane did appear in, there's the Batman Robin film. Let me rephrase that. Bane did appear in an atrocious Batman and Robin film that was released years ago, I believe, by Joel Schumacher. This is the one with, Arnold Schwarzenegger was Mr. Freeze, and Ursula Thurman was Poison Ivy. Forgive me when I say that film is atrocious, because personally, as a Batman fan, that film is a slap in the face. Any film that shows Batman holding out a credit card, a bat credit card it's just too much. That's just as corny as the 1960s Batman. At least in the 1960s Batman, you can kind of get away with that cheesy stuff. Shark repellent, anybody? But nowadays, no. So I hated that film. That as a Batman film, that was a slap in the face. So Bane was portrayed in that film as a sidekick villain to Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy, but basically he was made a joke out of. Forgive me, I'm taking a long time in this, but so much I have to like to talk about Batman. But the thing is, Bane, for those of you who don't know, Bane is in the lore of Batman comics, in the lore of Batman mythology, Bane is most famously remembered as the one in comic book lore is the one who broke the Batman's back. This was back, I think in the early 1990s. This is when DC Comics, wanted to, really put a big epic story out there. Something to draw readers in. As a matter of fact, this was done around the same time when DC, had Superman killed by Doomsday. the death of Superman. So they didn't want to kill Batman. So instead, they did an epic story. The story was called Nightfall. Nightfall. Very good story. I mean, you can find it in graphic novel. I highly recommend it. To anybody who's interested in Batman, I highly recommend this excellent story. But basically, Batman, this Bane guy, this in the story Nightfall was portrayed as a very shrewd, calculating individual who basically simply freed all of Arkham Asylum. He had the means to unlock all of Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum is the place where all Batman's villains are locked up. But so basically, Bane let them all out, and so that was just simply the beginning of Batman's troubles. Batman had to contend with the Joker, Two-Face, Scarecrow, the Riddler, just about every type of one of his villains. So and that wasn't hard enough. Bane basically had something called he used venom, which gave him superhuman powers. Basically, long story short, in the Nightfall story, Bane just simply through a combination of strategy, all the super villains he let out wearing down Batman, and Bane's own strength. Bane literally waited to the end to confront Batman when Batman was already simply past exhaustion. Batman was almost about to drop out of exhaustion, and simply put Bane had a fight with Batman. Batman was just too weak to confront Bane, and so Bane simply beat Batman down to a pulp. And the fitting moment was when Bane, literally took Batman over his knee and with all his strength broke and crippled Bruce Wayne, crippled the Batman. And that was the end of the Nightfall story. And which actually, right after that, it was another story called Night Quest, I believe, something like that. But basically, that is when there's another character, Azrael, Jean Paul, I believe. He's Azrael. He basically replaced Bruce Wayne as a Batman, at least temporarily. Eventually, Bruce Wayne would come back and take the mantle of the Bat from Jean Paul, who is also known as Azrael. But that, once again, that's a whole other story. Perhaps if I get any requests, I can fill in with that. But basically, that's how quite important Bane is in DC comic lore. I mean, he's the only one who's able to do something to Batman that every other supervillain wasn't. Not even the Joker was able to do this. He crippled Batman. He broke Batman's back, literally put him out of action. And eventually, Batman, Bruce Wayne would come back to confront Bane or another time. But so that's that. That's what makes Bane, such a force to be reckoned with. Now, I don't know what Christopher Nolan's going to do with Bane. It's interesting that, Christopher Nolan is having Bane in his last film. You almost think that, well, is he going to go the same route as the DC story? Is he going to have Bane cripple Batman and, The Dark Knight Rises? Personally, I hope this is not going to be the truth, because I could see this coming. It's a little too cliche for me. It's a story that's already done. I'm hoping that Christopher Nolan will, how can I say, think of another story, and I'm sure he will. Christopher Nolan has been full of surprises. Okay, we're running out of time here, so I'm gonna come up with part two. Part two will be coming up.